I think there's a really important issue for us in psychiatry, is that we don't have biological tests, we don't have blood tests or x-rays or anything that we can do that kind of puts people into those disease categories that they do in other forms of medicine. Yeah, so for us, yeah, it's a person's story, and them telling their story is actually what we've got to go on. Yeah. So there's a real much greater focus, I think, in mental health research on people's experiences, on their story. You know, there are people who, yeah, can tell their story through creative writing, through drama, through art, and I think the links between psychiatry and the arts maybe comes from that shared understanding that, yeah, that for psychiatry, people's individual accounts and people expressing themselves about their experiences is all we have, actually. Yeah, and it's really, really important. Art, for me, in the way it's been used, has been another perspective on something very difficult and complex, and a way of stimulating interest, discussion, yeah, a way of getting people who may not feel themselves to be particularly scientific to engage with some of these issues. So I guess what I've seen, what I've been involved with from the public engagement programme hasn't been so much about using art as a therapeutic technique to get people to express their, yeah, unresolved, unexpressed conflicts, etc., which is there is a history of that. But it's a really interesting and important way, I think, of taking another angle in on these things, and maybe getting people in to a discussion and who wouldn't engage in any other way. You know, yeah, I think it's really important that clinicians, that scientists engage with the public out there, that share the rationale for what they're doing, their ideas, their desires, their aims. I don't think it's so important, actually, that they talk about the detail of the science, actually, or what any particular discovery. It's not, to my way of thinking, about communicating particular results or advances. You know, I think it's, for me in mental health, it's about having that discussion, having that debate with people, and trying to get over my perspective, which is that these are real conditions and they're tractable problems, and actually doing research is something that is important, yeah, and it potentially will lead to real improvements for people who suffer with these conditions in years and generations to come. I think one of the issues when you're doing research which requires many hundreds, many thousands of people, is the experience of any individual can get lost. But it's key for us, I think, doing research in this area, that to remember that everybody's experience is different of these illnesses, and that those differences matter and are potentially really important. So that tells us two things, really. One is that the assessments that we make of people are really important, and getting their individual story and their account of the illness that they've experienced is vital. But also that one of the other things that we've done in the research, in bipolar research with BDRN, in the National Centre for Mental Health, now in CMH, is to have individual research champions who can speak about their experience of mental health problems, but also speak about why, the reasons they wanted to participate in the research, why they felt it was important. And I think they are going to be much more powerful to hear, yeah, the voice of somebody with that lived experience than the voice of somebody like me. I think their stories are really powerful at getting through to people. I think actually, I do think that participating in research, in my experience, has been something that many people find quite empowering, find it to be a very positive thing to do, because you know, it's a real way that they can have of making sense of what's happened to them, and bringing some kind of positive out of some, you know, often very distressing experiences that they've been through.